To confirm an HLA new allele, Dr. Viana built 4 primes to cover the regions that were not full-phased during the NGS sequencing. Interesting, no? Join me to discover new stories from the Brazilian groups that found new HLA alleles last year, and a little story of how and when the current nomenclature was discussed. Are you ready? So, let's go! Hello guys and welcome to the HLA channel. My name is Gustavo and my hobby is making videos about HLA. Bad English, but good HLA content. After the NGS technology, hundreds and hundreds of new HLA alleles were found all over the world. NGS became it much easier. Here, I'd like to highlight some of these new alleles discovered in Brazil during 2021. Well, we are in November 21, therefore my list ends this month. Basically, we have 2 groups publishing new HLA alleles in Brazil. The team from the state of Rio de Janeiro University and a partnership between the Hospital do Amor in Barretos City and the National Institute of Cancer in Rio de Janeiro City. Let's start with the state of Rio de Janeiro University. We call it WERJ. This laboratory is coordinated by Dr. Luiz Cristóvão Porto, a prominent researcher and a well-known HLA lab director in Brazil. His team was led by Dr. Rômulo Viana, a smart guy who loves trying new protocols and knows everything about technology. Under Dr. Viana's enthusiasm, the lab has published 40 papers describing new alleles in the last years. In 2021, they published 8 papers. The first one was a report from the HLA-A 02952. Yes! 952. If we keep finding new HLA-A2 alleles, soon we won't have numbers to cover all these new alleles. I've attended the 15th International HLA Workshop in Búzios, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil in 2028, where it was discussed and later implemented the new HLA nomenclature. At that time, we had some groups with more than 100 alleles, as the HLA-A2 for example. Because at that time was not permitted an allele with more than 3 digits, HLA-A02 101 for example, it was created some fake alleles, as the HLA-A92. So, the HLA-A92 means an HLA-A2 but with the specific allele higher than 100. With the new nomenclature, it was included a colon and we could have a normal allele again. With that, HLA-A9201 become A02 101 101. HLA-9202 became HLA-A02 102, and the HLA-B9501 for example became HLA-15101. We can see it in this paper from Steve Mart. Because of that workshop, we have now the HLA nomenclature as we know today. It was a great meeting with many HLA experts. Here is an official photo, an official picture from that meeting. Can you recognize some of your friends here? I can find some of my HLA idols here. Steve Mart, Ilia Doxiadis, René Duquesnoy, Peter Statny, and even a guy that now is my work colleague, Libor Kolesar. And I can remember live on my mind Dr. Derek Middleton and others singing Maria, Maria to the workshop organizers, Dr. Maria Lisa Moraes and Dr. Maria Gervasi. Yes, it was such a great meeting at that time. Let's back to the Dr. Viana's paper. All his new alleles were found using the holotype NGS kits from Omixon, and the analysis was done using the Omixon Twin software, confirmed by the GenGX NGS Engine software. HLA-A02952 has one non-synonymous substitution at position 471 in exon 2 from C to A, when compared to the closely related HLA-A02156. This corresponds to a codon 89 change from GCC to GAC, resulting in an amino acid change from alanine to aspartic acid. Word Lab also reported the HLA-A24576 allele. At that time, there were 700 HLA-A24 alleles described. In Rio de Janeiro, the antigen frequency for the HLA-A24 allele was 8.9%. Again, the variants were detected by holotype HLA NGS assay from Omixon and NGS Go assay from GenGX. This is a characteristic from some labs in Brazil when performing NGS tests. They have at least 2 vendors for NGS. This way, they can use one vendor as a kind of support to the other one. But here we had an interesting case. None of the software could phase the entire sequence. We had a phase break. For resolving the phase break, 3 custom primers were designed. One of them annealing with the region of novelty, and the remaining 2 primers annealing with the closed polymorphic region from either 2 phase options. And the results confirmed the phase for HLA-A24 516 allele. This mutation was identified in 2 individuals, and both individuals shared the same typing for HLA-AB, DRB1, DQA1, DPA1, and DPB1. Interesting that we could see the haplotype from this new allele. The frequency of HLA-A68 alleles in Rio de Janeiro is 5.5%. In May 21, there were 431 HLA-A68 alleles identified. Dr. Viana reported the HLA-68272, 272 to be added to the described alleles. In 2021, Dr. Viana published 5 more papers describing new HLA alleles. There were found 3 DQB1 new alleles, as you can see here: DQB1 04, 02, 01, 11, 05, 01, 01, 13, and 06, 03, 01, 04. 3 DKA1 new alleles. You can read here, it is so difficult for me to say all these numbers, and also HLA-DPA1, as you can see here. Congratulations to the State of Rio de Janeiro University team for all the new alleles they have described and added to the HLA nomenclature. We have another lab that published many new alleles from Brazil in the last years. By a coincidence, also from Rio de Janeiro City. I'm talking about the Immunogenetics Lab at the National Institute of Cancer, called INCA. Dr. Matilde Romero, an expert in immunology with a long career in the HLA field, is the head of the lab, which also has a smart and studious, bookish guy called Vinicius Stellet. Dr. Vinicius loves to explore NGS analysis software, and he dedicated his master's degree to study everything about NGS. But they are not alone in this journey. they have another prominent lab as a partner. The lab from the Hospital do Amor. In English, it is like the Love Hospital. Cute, no? Dr. Rafael Tita is the head of this lab with Dr. Maristela França. And this fantastic quartet, together, Matilde Romero, Vinicius Stellet, Rafael Tita, and Maristela França, has published a lot of new Hla Alleles in the past years. They have 4 papers published in 2021. Interestingly, they found 2 new HLA B15 in sequence, B15554 and B15555. The strategy is the same for these last papers. NGS by CareDx through site kits and confirmatory analysis using Omixon Twin software and NGS Engine software. The new HLA B15554 was found in 4 Brazilian individuals. And because there were 4 individuals, they could determine the haplotype with these new alleles, as you can see here. Again, interesting, no? When analyzing B15555, there were 1 substitution in exon 2 at position 435 from C to T, leading to a codon 79 change from CGG to TGG, resulting in an amino acid change arginine to tryptophan. We have now here such an interesting title. The novel HLA DQB10524 allele was likely generated by recombination between DQB10501 and DQB10302. Wow! When the HLA DQB10524 sequence was aligned to each reference allele for the HLA DQB1 groups, as you can see here, they note that the reported mismatches in exon 2 were shared with several HLA DQB103 alleles, including DQB13, 02, 01, 01. Therefore, the most likely explanation for the origin of HLA DQB10524 would be a double recombination event within exon 2 involving DQB1 05 01 01 01 and DQB1 03 02 01 01 alleles. Complex, no? But beautiful. And finally, another paper where they found a novel HLA A010101 53 allele generated by recombination in intron 1 with 4 substitution at position 143, 148, 152 and 178. Well, these were the papers published in 2021 with new alleles in Brazil. I hope you have enjoyed this video. It is a simple video, but with some different kinds of information for you. And thank you for watching. Bye bye!